No intro needed for this one. I was supposed to do the intro and all of that just now, give myself enough time to put on my glasses and everything, but it's all good. What's going on, good kind people? For Monday night of June 13th, 2022, you are checking out an all-new The RCWR show. Lee Sanders here, 401mania.com reporter and columnist, covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. What is going on, y'all? Here we are. Finally, I am back on the airwaves. I was on vacation for roughly 2 weeks. I had a lot of fun. A lot of the stuff I did my best to document on social media, but I really haven't been saying anything, especially as far as wrestling-related news and all that goes. But man, I picked a pretty good time to return. I was always supposed to return on this night, but man, just the amount of news that's gone down since I was last with you guys, because the last time we did a show was June 1st, and we had pretty much went into that week of Awesome Con weekend happening right here in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. Shout out to those of you that maybe you weren't there in attendance, but you had caught the replay of that great panel that was co-hosted by myself, my brother-in-arms, and Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Sue, and my good buddy and Julian Cannon from the Wrestling Court and the Nocturnal. That was a fun panel. I had a lot of fun, and after the panel was over, I went right to our ladies. In this case, my wife was there in attendance. I mean, when is she not there in attendance at an Awesome Con? And I went to Julian's woman and I asked them both, hey, how was it? Did we do good? Give it to us right between the eyes. What do we need to work on, if anything? And they both were like, no, you guys did pretty good. You hit it out of the park. It was fantastic. You guys were good. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, I bet. So that was awesome. Now, me and Tams, we did do an episode of Wrestling with the Topics. It was not released yet. It's going to be released Tuesday night. So if you guys, I know some of you guys have been hearing some of what was going on through Mish's perspective, all accurate, by the way, but you know, a good vinyl record, how there's a good side A, there's also, you flip it, a good side B. Well, you got to hear the side B of what we have to say to what was a crazy story and just overall what all had went down for us on vacation. But I hope you guys have been good. Hopefully you guys have been well. Shout out to everybody that has been affected by the recent rounds of shootings that has gone by, because sincerely, I really mean that, because in just the roughly 2 weeks I've been off the air, I have seen shootings to the left of me, shootings to the right of me, the few times I have checked out the news, and it's just been it's fucking stupid what's going on. I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to go down a rabbit hole I'm going to have a hard time getting out of and everything. So, hey, I want to welcome our Discord family that's tuning in right now, because this is the first time that we're actually doing a simulcast, not just through YouTube, the Twitter, the Facebook, but we're also syncing in our Discord audience as well. So for you guys that love the audio, but however you choose to tune in live for this next little bit, do appreciate you guys. As long as you're representing, that's all that really matters. Look, we'll get to Raw in a hot second. We'll get to that in a hot second. I mean, this was a somewhat so-so episode. Nobody's paying me to endorse these WWE shows, especially Raw, okay? Nobody's, here you go, buddy boy, a little bit of money under the table so I can glowing review, and no. If you didn't watch it this week, yo, you was all right to Eddie's point in the chat. Raw wasn't much tonight. Exactly. Raw wasn't really that much tonight. It was just, we'll get to that in a little hot little bit there, right? But first, let's tackle the biggest elephant in the room. By the way, Discord audience, how's the audio? Is it coming in nice and booming? Is it just right? Is it a little too loud? Let me know what's going on in the Discord, because I didn't even check the voice settings in the Discord, so let me know that. But I want to address one of the biggest pieces of news that went down, apparently, from over the weekend. Audio is perfect, says Anna. That's great. Jeff Hardy being arrested. This would be his third DUI. But if you're keeping tabs on just arrests in general, this marks the fourth time that Jeff Hardy has been in trouble with the law. Number 4. But a third time that he's been hit with a DUI charge within a 10-year time frame, okay? Now, I saw a lot of people that were just putting out the same regurgitated thing, but the one thing that I rarely saw people put out there today was the fact that he was involved with a wrestling con event over the weekend. Now, I'm not justifying what ultimately went down with Jeff Hardy. I'm just full context because I love providing full context. So, yes, there was a WrestleCon event that was out down in Florida for the River City promotion. Bret Hart was there, Booker T, Matt Hardy was even there, Cowboy James Storm, Thunder Rosa. It was a great who's who of people that were there in attendance, okay? It was fantastic. I've seen some of the photos and videos from fans that were there, and looks like, honestly, those that were in attendance, they had a great time. Now, as far as I can tell, and I'll have to rely on mainly you guys that went or know people that went, it does not appear that Jeff Hardy wrestled at this con event, but he was on hand doing autographs and photo ops, okay? So I think that's very important when you're trying to tell this entire story, okay? So look, we can only speculate what was going on with Jeff Hardy after he pretty much was done doing this event with his brother. Don't know if it was a case where, hey man, we gotta let loose a little bit, brother. Man, let's go get some ribs and get our drink on, man. I don't know. Maybe that's what... Okay, I don't know. But when it's all said and done, Jeff Hardy ended up getting arrested for his third DUI. And the way this is looking right now, the police report... Let me actually pull up the police report. And by now, everybody has pretty much seen his mugshot that's floating around here on this bad boy. And, you know, honestly, for me, when I looked at it, no bullshit, I just shook my head in disbelief going, I can't believe we're going down this rabbit hole yet again. And I see a lot of the comments that's coming out there from people that, and isn't it weird? Isn't it weird that we have people that are literally patting themselves on the back and they're saying, I told you, Jeff Hardy was a fuck up. I told you, once a fuck up, always a fuck up. I told you, ain't I right? Right? It was like, what the fuck do you want? You want a pat on the back? You want a fucking cookie? Of all the things to be right about, this is the one joint that you want to fall and die on the sword for. You want to be given your flowers on this one. Really? Do you know how idiotic that makes you look? Do you know how heartless, how coldless of a bastard that makes you look? That of all the things you want to get your pat on the back for, this is the one you want to die on that hill for. Please. Please. No, nobody should be taking great pride in, I told you. And then if that wasn't enough, you had some fans that were saying, oh man, see, WWE. Somehow they're spinning this on a WWE versus AEW. Well, in WWE, well, hey, in AEW, right? We don't need to be doing any of that right now. Sincerely, those of you that are operating in those fashions, you're not doing anything to help Jeff Hardy and whatever is going on with him, his family. You're being a bad representation of the wrestling community. What this comes down to in regards to Jeff Hardy is self-accountability. That's something that we constantly talk about on this show and have talked about on this show over the years. Just as you all that's tuning in right now are responsible for your actions, the minute that you wake up, you get out of that bed, you start getting yourself ready, and you head out that door, I am responsible for my actions as well. So we all have to take self-accountability for ourselves the moment that we leave out of our homes. And Jeff Hardy chose to put himself in a very delicate position where, once again, he finds himself in trouble with the law. So he was arrested out in Valseria County, Florida. Looked like he was booked on June 13th, so earlier today, around this afternoon. And according to the report, he was driving with a suspended/revoked license and was driving under the influence. So makes this, again, third offense within the past 10 years. And I see apparently as far as his alcohol blood point level, apparently it was 3 times what Tammy Sitch Sonny, and the latest fiasco that was going on with her. We do have a new update as far as Tammy Sitch news goes that we can share with you guys. It's going to make a lot of you guys groan and say, fuck that bitch. I can promise you that in advance, but more on her later, and we don't need to be long-winded with her. We'll be like 30 seconds in and out. Wait a minute. Do we really want to be 30 seconds in and out of Tammy Sitch? Yeah, like you got to check yourself for bumps and shit afterwards. But no, in regards to Jeff Hardy, this just, it does not look good. And keep in mind that he's sparingly been used on AEW TV as far as in-ring wrestling action goes, to the point the last time that we saw Jeff Hardy in action, he was doing his thing with his brother at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view event, and they just laid the foundation. I want to say, was it as early as last Wednesday's Dynamite, y'all? As early as last Wednesday's Dynamite, they laid down the foundation for a triple threat tag match for the AEW tag team titles that was supposed to be up for grabs on this Wednesday's Dynamite, as the Hardys take on the Young Bucks, while Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus defend the titles. Since all of this has come about, AEW has remained very tight-lipped. Mum is the word right now. They have not put out an official statement concerning Jeff Hardy's arrest. Tony Khan, mum is the word right now. He is not putting anything out there. So, look, we are beyond touch and go in regards to this latest development that has gone down with Jeff Hardy. We are beyond touch and go. I'll get to Tony Khan, AEW, and how I feel they should handle that in just a hot little bit. But I see so many people putting all this different stuff that's out there. Shout out to Ian, who said, hey, man, I just subscribed. How am I doing, by the way? I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. I hope you're doing pretty good as well. Steven saying, Jeff Hardy, man, I don't know what to say. Nobody ain't seen this coming. I'm not going to say I saw this coming. What I will say, something that nobody else has mentioned, but now that I'm going to put this out there, it's probably going to make you recline back in your seat, rub your chin a little bit, and go, you know something? Lee actually has a point. Does anybody remember the Broken Skull Sessions episode that Jeff Hardy appeared on? Remember when Stone Cold Steve Austin pretty much, so I mean, look, man, you have had such an interesting journey, man. Talk to me a little bit about it. So you had a little problem there going on there, that TNA pay-per-view, little Victory Road there, little problem. Talk to me about that. What was going on during that time frame? Remember that? Remember when Steve Austin, yeah, so you came back to the WWE, had a little nice little run there, bumped to a little CM Punk, the demons getting a hold of you once again. What's going on there? Remember when Steve Austin tried to just a little tap at the door, was trying to get Jeff Hardy to open up and talk about some of those issues that was going on with him, and trying to, he wasn't trying to embarrass Jeff Hardy, contrary to what a diehard Jeff Hardy fan may have felt about that interview. Steve Austin, in the way that he was trying to approach it, was basically, look, obviously you've had some slips and falls along the way, but man, you somehow are able to continue to persevere. You're somehow able to learn from your mistakes and keep right on going. Talk to me about, where was your mindset? And man, when you hit that rock bottom, just what was it that made you rise from out of that position and continue to reach for great success and greatness and all that? And remember how Jeff Hardy was very defensive every time. Defensive from the standpoint of, go back and watch that interview. He was defensive from the standpoint of, well, one thing had led into another, and I mean, it happened, and I'm here now, and everything's good. Remember that? Some form or another, every single time. Steve Austin must have tried at least 3 times. 3 times to have Jeff bite that carrot, and Jeff did not bite it. That, for me, I don't know how much I had touched upon this when I actually reviewed that episode. I didn't do like a full-blown, but I remember just bullet points. You guys will have to refresh my memory that remember when we were talking about it. But I just remember coming from out of that going, this man is still taking it day by day. This guy is still battling his demons, and all you can do is just hope for the very best. All you can do is just continue to knock on wood for him. And then when that crap went down with that WWE house show, and you hear, oh, no, you guys got it all wrong. No, it wasn't loaded whatsoever. Nothing weird had went down. His wife is jumping out there defending him. Oh, no, wait till you see the blood tests. Wait till you see the tests. Yeah, we didn't do anything wrong. Wait till you see the tests. And we're going, okay, all right, we hear you talking. Put your money where your mouth is. Till then, we're kind of looking at you cockeyed. Then the test comes out, you go, oh, okay, so he's actually right. He was telling the truth. Oh, okay, all right, cool. All right, whatever. It is what it is. And then he goes to AEW. Pretty much safe to say, Brother Matt got him in there, right? It's good to have friends in high places because all they got to do is just put in a word for you, and the rest is pretty much, hey, you're in. Do your thing. Earn that money. Right? I don't know what's going on with Jeff Hardy. I'm not going to speak on behalf of Jeff Hardy, but what I can speak upon, being somebody that has been at the receiving end of trying to do some form of a drug intervention, trying to show tough love to that loved one, saying, yo, you got a significant problem and you need to fucking get out of this already. You got to shake out of this before a couple of things happen. Either you end up being incarcerated or you take somebody's life or you take your own life. So before any of those scenarios occur, you need to fucking get yourself up out of this position and get yourself some help. I've had a loved one many, many years ago, at this point now over 25 years ago, that they've been drug-free, sober and all that. But I had a direct family member that was battling substance abuse. And it was tough watching them struggle. And those times when I'm saying to them, look, you need help, and they are denying it. Well, first of all, you can't help somebody that doesn't admit that they have a problem, right? Because they are a non-believer. They're a denier. So when you come across that, it's, right, you're just knocking your head up against the wall. Sometimes, unfortunately, some people have to learn the hard way. Some people have to truly hit a rock bottom in order for them to have that moment of clarity. And 44 going on 45-year-old Jeff Hardy, I just personally feel he has not hit that rock bottom yet. He has not hit that rock bottom yet. Because let's be honest, if it wasn't for his fame, his wealth status, if he was just your average Joe like you and me, oh man, these opportunities, our asses would have got shutting down. Probably from the very first occurrence, all right? The very first DUI occurrence, our asses probably would have been handed jail time or whatever, okay? It really depends. Really depends. So I'm looking at this stuff that's going on with Jeff Hardy here, and whatever is going on, me personally, when he left WWE, I knew it was going to be a matter of time before he went to AEW, but I personally was hoping that Jeff would just take time to just focus on himself, spiritually, physically, mentally, take care of himself, take care of home, be a dad, be a wife. I honestly did not expect for Jeff Hardy to appear in AEW for, honestly, and I know this is going to sound silly, but I thought he wasn't going to arrive in AEW for at least a year plus. Give himself more than ample of enough time to get all his cards in order, get his house in order. And the fact that he came so quickly, I looked kind of sideways and I just said, well, all right, let's see what happens. I'm rooting for him. I'm pulling for the dude. And yet we have this relapse here, right? The best thing that anybody can do right now that is truly a fan of Jeff Hardy is send your thoughts, send your prayers, but also encourage. I think now more than ever, anybody that truly considers themselves a Jeff Hardy fan now needs to hold Jeff Hardy's feet to the fire and say, Jeff, dude, my man, all due respect, you're getting a little bit too old for this shit, man. You've been fortunate so far, but sooner or later, your luck is going to run out. And at what expense? Do you end up being a Teddy Pendergrass, confined to a wheelchair? Do you end up in a body bag? Do you end up in a case like Tammy Sitch where you take the life of an individual because you chose to be selfish and go out there on the road? And, you know, once you start saying I mean, that's pretty much it. It's just a matter of time before trouble comes down, right? We as fans need to start holding Jeff Hardy accountable. If we can have the same venom, the same level of scrutiny when it comes to Tammy Sitch, we should be able, I mean, am I right or am I right? We should be able to have that same level of enthusiasm applied to Jeff Hardy as well. Again, with a blood alcohol level like twice as high as what Tammy Sitch had in her respected accident that took the life of an individual. This time, Jeff was fortunate. Nobody got caught up, no life. Nobody was taken to the hospital, and physically their life as they know it will never be the same again. But I can't speak for Jeff. I can only speak for myself. But man, I'm just thinking about those little kids. If they're still little, you could be telling me right now, well, actually his kids are now teens. Time flies, okay? But I'm thinking about those kids. And one day, those kids are going to become young teenagers that's getting ready to wrap up high school, getting ready to go into college. And sooner or later, they're going to get to a point where they're going to want to learn everything that they can about their dad. And they decide they want to go on a Bing Google search and they want to look up stuff. And yeah, for all the great moments that they're going to be seeing of their father, they're also going to see those bad moments. Dad, what the hell was going on with you during this period? Right? So whatever he's got to do to take care of himself, he needs to stay on top of it now more than ever. In regards to AEW, Tony Khan and them, I really hope that internally they look at what's going on with this man and they say, okay, let's just quietly in-house, let's take care of this. Let's let him know that whatever help he needs, we're there for him. Any type of rehab that he may want, counseling, whole 9 yards, we are there for him. And we will be there every step of the way. At this point, he don't need to worry about wrestling right now. We'll just worry about that at a much later date. And, you know, I hate to say this, but this kind of goes back to what I was talking about during that AwesomeCon panel with Mission Julian. There's a part where I mentioned, look at Tony Khan and look at how this guy is basically acting like that little kid with that cereal box, and he's just digging into that box. What prize am I going to get next from out of here? That prize being that wrestler. He's that kid with that Cracker Jack box. Prize guaranteed in every box of Cracker Jacks. And you don't know what you're going to get out of it, right? I need for him to stop being the wrestling toy collector, the Pokemon collector. And I need for him to really start being more meticulous. I need for him to start being more methodical. I need for him to start implementing more of a thought process. And, okay, do you really want to be so quick to hiring this person? especially if that person has a lot of baggage. Now, Tony Khan may have felt justified in bringing Jeff Hardy on board because, oh, hey, look, when it's all said and done, test was false. Look at that. Okay, hey, as far as I'm concerned, he's been okay for a couple of years now. To defend Tony Khan, he might have felt a little bit justified. But now that this has happened, as a owner, as a proprietor, you got to say to yourself, hey, this don't look good. I got to get in front of this. I got to figure out what's going on with my guy. And, the only thing that Tony Khan needs to do different this go round, not make such a publicity stunt. Very similar to what went down with Moxley, as you guys remember. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way, how everything was pretty much announced on social media and then it bled into the programming for that week. I think just if anything, just with Jeff Hardy, just let this shit be in-house. If you guys want to maybe address this on your show, I would highly recommend you just say, hey, we want to send our thoughts, our prayers of strength to Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy is going through a dark period right now, or Jeff Hardy is going through some stuff right now. So we just want to send him our very best. Keep it at that. Keep it short, sweet, simple. Now, what do you do with this match that's coming up on Dynamite? Assuming that the match maybe is still going to go down or whatever, I think the best possible scenario that you could do, you could still go ahead and do the match, but have there be a mystery tag partner for Matt Hardy. I think that's the best way to do it. And who could that mystery tag partner be? I say, why not Christian? Why not Christian? I would love to see it be a scenario where when Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus go, the hell is going on here? Yo, Christian, why are you... Christian can easily say, hey, look, you're holding on to two of the most prestigious titles here in AEW. You're representing our tag team division. You want to prove that you are the absolute best? Take your game to that next level? All right, well, consider what's getting ready to go down right here as a really good test. And if you can pass it, man, it even adds more to your cachet as champions. I'll see you out there. You could have it be as simplistic as that as far as why Christian is. Because not for nothing, if you followed what's been happening with Christian with Jurassic Express these past several months, it's come off as if he's been giving them lessons here and there, right? He's been trying to be a little bit hard on them. So what better way than, okay, Christian slides in there, teams with Matt Hardy, and you pretty much go from there. Or if you want to go on ahead and you want to have the match just, you don't even want to tackle it at all. You don't even want to do a replacement. I mean, AEW has a right to go in that direction as well. But they should definitely strongly consider, okay, Christian, boom, you're it. And if the tag champions retain, that's great. You can have Christian say to them, I knew that you guys had it in you. You guys just got to do a better job in believing yourselves, right? Look at that. You guys went into a classic ladder match, a ladder match that myself, Christian, Edge, the Hardys had made famous. Dudley's, we made this ladder match famous, and you guys were able to go in there and tear it up, right? You guys just got to do a better job in believing yourselves. You're the champions for a reason. Sooner you realize that, the better. If this match didn't prove that to you guys, fuck, I don't know what will. If you have it be designed kind of like that, then I think everything will balance itself out well. Curious what you guys think. Eddie said he likes that idea, right? I'm sure. Sound off. Let me know what you guys think about maybe Christian sliding in there. But Jeff Hardy, I mean, there's really nothing more to say about that. It's unfortunate. It really is. I really hope that this guy truly gets whatever help he needs. And honestly, just stop thinking about the wrestling. Stop thinking about the fucking wrestling. Wrestling shouldn't even matter right now. It should just, watching, it's almost like, I'll give you a perfect analogy and then we'll move on. It's almost like, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Hey, and how's the therapy going? How's the rehab and all that going? Well, I'm proud to say that I'm 5 months sober. Really? Yeah, I haven't touched alcohol in 5 months now. Not one fucking drop. Hey, well, good for you. Yeah, man, I'm doing all right. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Hey, you got any weed? You got any LSD? What the fuck you mean, do I have some weed? Do I have some LSD? No. Fuck is wrong with you? Oh, I was just playing. I'll just play. Right? You can't just say, okay, this is that, and then, yeah, I'm kind of mastering that, but now I'm going to pick up this new. No, it doesn't operate that way. It does not operate that way. Okay? You got to just be cold across the board. Cold right across the board. So, thoughts are with Jeff Hardy here. Let's see. We'll talk a little bit about Raw. Let's tell you what. Let's put a counter on here. Let's get Raw out the way in about 20 minutes because I want to move on and talk about some other wrestling related news as well. By the way, I did tease Tammy Sitch. I wasn't going to talk about it until much later on, but there is an update. I said to you guys a few minutes ago, if you remember, it's going to make you groan and say, fuck that bitch. You really want to fuck that bitch? But you know what I mean. But no, in a new update in regards to Tammy Sitch, apparently she is trying to put a counter sue out there against the family that filed the lawsuit against her, that resulted in the death of their beloved family member there. According to PW Insider, Sitch had filed a motion as early as June 2nd to dismiss the suit with the argument that the victim's family's daughter had not been appropriately appointed as a representation, for the victim, the deceased victim, and thus legally couldn't bring the lawsuit. Now, the legal team have responded to the rulings by the state of Supreme Court as evidence for an argument that basically it could count as a properly appointed representative for the deceased family. So, yeah, again, in a nutshell, she's trying to have this be dismissed, thinking that there's some type of a technicality here that she can pretty much expose. And you just look at that and you just go, I'm feeling numb right now. Like, really? You're stooping to these levels right now? You're really, that's some balls. That is some significant balls. Like, okay, whatever. So there's your update on Tammy Sitch there. But Raw, again, we'll get this done in about 20 minutes or less. We can get into some more headlines here on the show here. Let's go. I got my counter going. Raw for this week, as I mentioned at the top of the show. So let me see if I got this right. We have Paul Heyman out there tonight, right? And you're going, oh, Paul Heyman's here. Okay, well, where there's Paul Heyman, maybe we'll get a nice little cameo by Roman Reigns. No cameo by Roman. But you're seeing Paul Heyman and you go, look, Paul is exceptionally good at what he does. Okay, this should be great. We see him basically with Miz. You're going, okay, this should be good. Miz, Heyman, can't go wrong with that, right? Don't know how you guys felt, but for me, I didn't care for the opener there. I thought for sure that with Heyman and Miz on the mics, we were going to get some golden nuggets of, okay, that was good. Weak sauce. Riddle coming out there. I get what they were trying to do. When it was all said and done, I get it, hindsight being 2020, right? We got Riddle out there. We've got Heyman out there, all in the name of basically trying to put Riddle over, trying to build up some steam. To Eddie's point, Paul didn't do much. Riddle did good there, right? So they did a good job in putting Riddle over. But as far as Heyman and Miz, they really were not a factor whatsoever in that opening segment, which had pretty much set up our first opening match of the night, Montez Ford taking on Jimmy Uso. I thought for sure we were going to get some type of a 6-man tag match, because when we were going into a commercial break, you're like, oh, hey, Street Profits coming to the aid there for, okay, cool. All right, we're going to take a commercial break, and maybe we're going to iron all this out. Maybe it's going to be a 6-man tag match, or maybe it's going to be just a 2-on-2 tag team match, and we didn't get that at all. Instead, it was just a straight up one-on-one match. And look, I'm actually okay for that because I love Montez Ford. I continue to be a big fan and supporter of Montez Ford. I truly believe, and I've been saying this for a couple of years now, it's just a matter of when. Not how, it's just when at this point. I believe Montez Ford will be a phenomenal breakout singles competitor. And look, they do it right. WWE really gets behind the guy and all that. I could definitely see him being a future WWE champion as well. But his match against Jimmy Uso, I thought it was a good opener for what it was worth. A nice, strong match for what it was. Well fought, great effort by both men. Love the timing and emphasis that was put on Montez Ford's back. You had a little bit of sloppiness that was in there, though. If you guys remember, I'm talking about the spot there that went down with the head scissors, but I mean, other than that, for 12 minutes and change of a match, overall, pretty good when it was all said and done. I get a recap of Seth Rollins attacking Cody from the previous week. We pretty much hear from him next. He talks about how he looked at Cody Rhodes as a virus, something that was plaguing the WWE since WrestleMania. He was trying to tell everybody about this, but feeling as though no one was taking his side, he felt he had to take matters into his own hands, and that Cody was not only becoming a danger to WWE, but also to himself. So, as far as Seth Rollins is concerned, he saw a threat, and he eliminated that bad boy. As far as he's concerned, the WWE, it's all about adapt or perish. He has no remorse as he takes pride in what he did to Cody Rhodes last week. And now that the Monday Night Rollins show is back, he is eyeing Money in the Bank, which was pretty much setting him up for later on in the night as he was going to have a match against AJ Styles. Money in the Bank spot up for grabs. AJ Styles within the earshot, hearing some of the trash talking that was coming his way indirectly from Seth Rollins, decides to sucker punch him on his ass, say that's for Cody. That pretty much was it. So let's go there. Let's talk about that match, because that wasn't the main event attraction. Instead, it was a fucking pose down, an atrocious pose down, and we'll get to that pose down in a hot minute. But let's get to that match between Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. First of all, hats off to both men. I thought the match that they did tonight, pretty good. It was an instant classic banger as far as I was concerned. Very proud of both of these men. Seth Rollins going over, I felt that was the right move. I felt that the right guy did, in fact, win this one, as he should have. The ending I wasn't really a fan of, but it did not take away from the overall match. Seth continuing to master this latest incarnation of a character that he's in right now. I mean, he is continuing to just get better and better, wrapping his whole head around this. I don't know, what do you want to call it right now? I don't know if you call it the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I don't know what you call it right now, but this whole thing that he's got going on as a heel, he's mastering it pretty good. But going back to my point about the right man winning, honestly, look, at this point, you know, Cody Rhodes has already successfully gone under the knife, so congrats to him for that. Yeah, a lot of this stuff that we're talking about for the first time, this is the first show I've done in like 2 weeks. Cody Rhodes went under the knife since we were away, so that's great. Everybody is saying about 9 to maybe 10 months of a recovery time frame. I'm not seeing that whatsoever. I've got him coming back way fucking sooner than you think. Honestly, if I'm the WWE and I'm just trying to put a nice little projection out there on, hey, what could we have happen right here with the Cody Rhodes character? You're in a very interesting position. As far as what I personally would like to see, I'll tell you in a hot minute. But on the one hand, you could go on ahead, have Seth Rollins be the guy to ultimately win this Money in the Bank briefcase. Then, right before, what is this? This is now June, so July, August, September, October, November, December. Cody could be back by December, or Cody could be back by Royal Rumble. So you can either do two things. It's not going to take 9 to 10 months for Cody to come back. I'm telling you that right now. I don't believe that whatsoever. Okay? I don't believe that whatsoever. So WWE is going to be in an interesting position. On the one hand, you can have Cody come back, pick up business with Seth frickin' Rollins, pick up the pieces. You can go back and do that thing. Maybe have somehow the Money in the Bank briefcase be up for grabs. Cody gets that bad boy and pretty much... Now, see, here's where it gets interesting. By Cody winning the Money in the Bank briefcase off of Rollins, does that time stamp of valid until, does it reset with Cody going in there, taking it off Rollins? Or, you might have won it, but this time is what you have remaining. It has not reset, right? So on the one hand, you could do that, or you could have Rollins just pop up, win the Royal Rumble, maybe go to Mania. But he goes to Mania, interesting position. Do you have him win the championship only for Rollins to screw him out of it, and Cody chases after Rollins for a couple of months, ultimately getting the championship, and then, okay, it's truly the reign of the American Nightmare? WWE is in an interesting position here as far as what they could potentially do. If you ask me straight up what they probably should do, what I personally would like to see happen, you look at this trajectory that's happening with Austin Theory. And even though I feel the way I feel about Austin Theory, for me, the verdict is still out, but I'm still not quite, this guy, future of WWE 10 years from now. I'm not quite on that bandwagon just yet. I haven't seen the definitive, okay. I'm waiting for that career-defining moment early in his career that speaks the levels of, yes, this is a guy you need to watch for years to come in the WWE. I'm just not there yet. Does he have the look down? Yes, he's got the look down. Not saying everybody's got to go out there and put out a 5-star fucking banger. He is pretty solid as an in-ring performer. I'll definitely give him that. That's for damn sure. But I'm still not quite, yes, I'm drinking that Kool-Aid. Not there yet. I see plenty of other people that I consider to be, but not quite there with him yet. But keeping all of that in mind, if you maybe wanted to do something with Austin Theory down the road as a future Money in the Bank winner or whatever, you could definitely do that. Who are you going to have Roman Reigns drop the championship to? Assuming the reports out there is true that at some point he is going to be stepping away, and rightfully so. The man's been at it fucking nonstop. He's been a fucking beast nonstop. Yeah, let him recharge his batteries a little bit and all that. But who do you have the championship go to off of Roman? Right? It's a very interesting position that WWE has found themselves in. And the one thing I like that's going on with them, the fact that they've got options. That's the thing. The fact that they've got options versus a couple of years ago where you pretty much had slim pickings, right? So good stuff right there. Dana Brooke, Becky Lynch for the 24/7 championship. Didn't care for this match whatsoever. I'm looking at this going, why are we even being put through this? Sincerely, why are we being tortured with this? But this match technically did not happen. And it technically did not happen because pretty much Becky Lynch started beating the holy hell out of Dana Brooke before the bell even rang. Action goes to the outside. Becky grabs a microphone. She's talking a hot game of trash. This pretty much makes Asuka come out. Asuka, Becky, they go at it for a hot little bit. Becky's licking her wounds as she makes her escape, continuing to talk hot trash. And that pretty much was the end of that, as if I remember correctly, this pretty much had set up the official second match of the evening, which was a Money in the Bank qualifier match. And in case you missed that, Seth Rollins did win his Money in the Bank qualifier there against AJ Styles. I want to make sure you guys didn't miss that. Second Money in the Bank qualifying match, Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan in a tag match to take on Nikki Ash and Piper Niven. Team of Bliss, Morgan going over 4 minutes and change. Look, not bad of a match for the time that was given to them, but this also wasn't a good or average match, okay? So there's really nothing to be bragging about here in regards to this match. Besides that, I will continue to beat the horse to death. The lack of storytelling that has yet to be picked up with Doudrop confiding in Nikki Ash. What's going on there? Some weeks back now, it seems that we had Doudrop saying to Nikki Ash, are you tired of feeling fucking sorry for yourself? Are you ready to pick yourself up from the ground already and fucking put in the work? And so far, we as viewers, we have not been rewarded whatsoever for continuing to see what's going on here with the Nikki Ash character. I'm waiting for that moment where Nikki Ash decides whatever, whether the superhero gimmick, she's officially done with it. It almost feels like the writers aren't really sure what the fuck to do with those girls. By the way, shout out to Nikki Ash for her costume choice tonight. Kind of looked very similar to the trailers that's been running around there for the new Black Adam trailer for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's latest DC Comics movie. True story, and long-time comic book fans will remember this, especially if you were in junior high, high school, back in the late 90s into the 2000s. But there was a decent amount of us that said way back when, yo, if we could have it our way, and if we could see somebody be a full life version of some of our favorite Marvel characters, I'm sorry, but yeah, no, I said it right, Marvel and DC characters, when it came to Black Adam, all of us unanimously, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Unanimously, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So to see that actually come to fruition, right? To say I'm giddy would be a fucking understatement. That trailer looks pretty fucking badass, by the way. Can't wait to see that movie. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be coming out October of this year. Meanwhile, you got all that bullshit that's going down with that Flash movie. I get into it a lot more on this week's Wrestling with the Topic, so I won't dive into it now. But if you're looking at that particular movie that's supposed to be released next year, you know, obviously you had every right to be excited, but all the shit that's going on there with Ezra Miller, goddamn, Warner Brothers, just fucking recast the role, reshoot your scenes already. Enough said. Ezekiel taking on Kevin Owens. Pretty much 8 minutes and change. Ezekiel picking up the W. We still are looking at this feud that's been going on so far. And it feels as though, look, the time for this being interesting, and we're like way past that. We need to move on already. But just when you think we're finally getting past this shit, wait, we get a new wrinkle in this Ezekiel/Elias story arc, which is Zeke grabbing a microphone post-match saying that he's so excited about Money in the Bank that he'll be at Raw next week, and that not only will he be there next week, but Elias will be there as well. And Elias will be there to remind what WWE stands for, which is we want to eat. Right? But no. So you're hearing that and you're going, wait, so Elias is going to be in the house. Ezekiel is going to be in the house. So are we going to do a fake me out, put a glue beard on? Are we going to go that route? Or are we going to go, give me 1 second here to those of you that's in the Discord. Hang on a second here. I got somebody saying the stream, but I'm not seeing any disconnect right now. If you guys maybe were seeing a little bit of buffering, I just reset the frame rates, but I'm not showing any disconnect right now. To my people in the Discord, we're actually still connected with them. So anybody that's having issues as you're viewing the stream, just refresh your browser and that should actually take care of it. But going back to Elias, that's an interesting position that's going on there, because how are we going to do this? Is it going to be a situation where Elias shows up for a particular segment and, it's kind of like rinse, repeat? I'm almost thinking about, I can't believe I'm mentioning this. I haven't mentioned this name in a good fucking minute, but are we going to pull a page out of the immortal Hulk Hogan and when he was doing the whole American Patriot shit? And remember when Vince McMahon, God damn it, I'm on a mission. I'm going to prove that fucking blonde-haired son of a bitch, Patriot, is Hulk Hogan. And when I do, I'm going to fire his ass on the spot. Yeah, are we going to kind of go in that direction with Elias / Ezekiel? And remember how it was with Hulkster, Patriot? Basically, they were never in the same place at the same time, right? Brother, you just missed him. I was just talking to him by catering. It's going to be interesting to see. Of course, I have a very interesting idea. And when I was saying this in the Discord, some people were like, yo, that actually is a pretty okay idea. I kind of like that. And my idea was this. Fresh off of the heels of your NWA Always Ready pay-per-view event, we know that Aaron Stevens, who used to be known as Damian Sandow in the WWE, we know that he had made the announcement going into that NWA pay-per-view, okay, yo, this is pretty much it for me. I'm going to be retiring from professional wrestling. And as the old saying goes, nah, man, once in wrestling, always in wrestling. You're never fucking done with wrestling. It just couldn't help but make me wonder, what if it's possible that that's what Aaron Stevens is putting out there, but in actuality, he was just saying goodbye to NWA because he's going to be coming back to the WWE for maybe a short run, and maybe you bring him back as fucking Elias. The role of Elias will be portrayed by Damian Sandow. That look, I don't know. I'm just saying, if WWE maybe, right? I'm hoping that's the direction that it's going to go. It's a long shot. But if they were to go in that respected direction, yo, that would add so many new layers of storytelling. The comedic relief alone that you would have from that. Otherwise, if you're not going in that direction, I really hope they're not doing the whole, I just saw Elias in catering. I hope we're not going in that direction, because if that's the direction that we're going to go, this is pretty much going to suck straight up. That's just my phone letting me know everything's good, right? That's just, I don't know how you guys personally feel about that. You guys can sound off, but I'm hoping maybe that's the direction that we're going to be going in. Otherwise, everything else is just a bust. And I'm really liking the idea that Mish has been saying the past couple of weeks about, maybe this whole Ezekiel gimmick, it's basically a mental illness, and the fact that the fans are continuing to acknowledge Elias as Ezekiel, that pretty much makes them technically bad guys for continuing to egg on Ezekiel, right? Even to the point, and I had missed that, I meant to watch it, but apparently there's some WWE little web exclusive where Becky Lynch and somebody else, they're basically talking about Ezekiel, and there's this whole, well, Ezekiel was always Ezekiel. Ezekiel ended up being Elias because, like, some weird fucking shit that had went down. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next week. That's just my whole point. It's going to be interesting to see where we're going next week. But I really like the idea of Damian Sandow coming in there and pretty much assuming the role. We'll see what happens. See a question or a comment rather about Dewdrop. Hope it doesn't turn into Dewdrop getting released. I mean, you can still do so much with Dewdrop. Do you really? I think that would be a disservice to Dewdrop. Sincerely, I think that would be a disservice to her. She has, as far as I'm concerned, gone above and beyond for fucking WWE. Everything that has been asked of her to do, she's done that and then some. It does really appear as though, when optics wise, when you see everything that's been going on with Dewdrop, really ever since they broke her away from, oh God, man, I can't, Eva Marie. Ever since they broke her away from Eva Marie, and I mean, she was picking up some serious steam. And yet somehow WWE, when it counted the most and you're trying to establish new stars and everything, she gets that rub off of Eva Marie, and yo, it ended up becoming ice cold flat real quick. Real quick. I would just like to believe that if Lacey Evans can continue to get as many opportunities. I mean, let's really stop and think about this. We've got Carmella and we've got Zelina Vega. When was the last time they were on TV? And yet, to my point, we still can't really figure out what exactly we're doing here with Nikki and Dewdrop. That's my whole fucking point. Before we get ready to release some motherfuckers, let's just really make sure that the right people are being released. That's just my 2 cents on that from a distance. Let's see. What else had happened from Raw this week? Going through a couple of more little tidbits here. MVP taking on Cedric Alexander. Look, pretty much a squash match. That's all that really was. Straight up squash match. MVP going over in that one. I mean, look, at least Cedric Alexander, you know, every time he gets the call, right, he tries to give it his all. Well, he did something here, and it was a bust. It was a fucking bust. Yeah. Other than that, I think that was pretty much Raw. Oh, wait, Tommaso Ciampa. He had faced Matt Riddle. Physically a good match. I love how explosive it was from both men. Less than 5 minutes of a match, though. Yeah, it really seemed like just when it was starting to get good, boom, it ends. So I wasn't really a fan of that. But Riddle going over. Bianca Belair doing a little bit of talking as well. I got my wish, Julian. I got my wish. So at the panel, I said, what do you guys think about the idea of Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair? Like, because I was saying to them, where do you go next for Bianca? Because you can't keep going to the well here with Asuka and who's the other one? Becky Lynch. You can't keep going to the well there. Do you think maybe it's time you slide in Rhea Ripley? So to see that Rhea Ripley is now going to be the number one contender to face Bianca for the title at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, good. That's fucking good. A little bit of trash talking here of a segment that this pretty much was, to the point Rhea Ripley didn't even appear on the screen, in person, to talk that yakety yak with Bianca Belair. Instead, she popped up on the Titantron. Pretty much we got a recap of Balor, how he came to be, and the new leader of this, what is it, Judgment Day, whatever fuck they're calling this stable. Silly ass name. We got to change that name already. Rhea pretty much putting Bianca on the spot. Tired of playing nice. Tired of taking orders. They're going to do what they want to do when they want to do, basically. Yakety yak. As far as an update on Edge, nothing right now. Chad Gable picked up a W over Mustafa Ali. Okay for what it was worth. Rey Mysterio losing to Veer Mahan, 3 minutes and some change. You know, on the one hand, you go, well, at least this isn't a case where Veer Mahan is continuing to deal with jobbers and he's doing these 30-second squash matches. But you can't help but look at Veer and say, okay, sincerely, what's next? Obviously, the powers that be are trying really hard here with Veer, but hard here, Veer. I like that. Nice little rhyme. But sincerely, it feels as though we've already reached that peak. It feels as though we've already reached that ceiling with Veer Mahan, and it's quite unfortunate. It really, really is. I'm telling you, next bus flip, okay, I hate to say that, but you're just looking at some people, and unless maybe you do something with Veer, pairing him up with Jinder Mahal, you know, unless you maybe, right, I'm reaching here. I'm thinking about some type of a new foreign stable, right? Why not do a follow-up to League of Nations, right? Maybe do some type of a follow-up to that, if not a little better. It's interesting. It's really interesting. I see a little bit of upside in Veer. I'm fascinated with him, but at the same time, I'm looking at him and I'm going, I don't know, dog. I don't know, right? They're doing the right blueprint with the guy. That's the thing that we can't lose sight of. They're using the right blueprint. They went through the whole jobber shit. They went through the whole putting him in the ring with a WWE alumni, although most people don't really care to see Jerry Lawler on their TV these days. So, I don't know, maybe you want to try for a more sympathetic figure. Maybe try for a... here's a thought. Maybe you try with, I don't know, a Booker T or something. I don't know, Mick Foley, somebody more beloved. But everything that they've been doing so far, mixed reactions. Mixed reactions. Of course, the pose down that went on between Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley. What the fuck was that trash? Sincerely. I'm just picturing Vince McMahon.
You know what would be great? Sincerely, you know what would be great? Go out there and have yourself a pose down. Yeah, good old pose down. Flex those muscles. Flex those thighs. Flex those butt cheeks. Flex it with all your might. Flex. Flex, damn it, flex.
This just felt pointless. When you got to this particular... Let me see if I got this straight. We're talking about Game 5. Don't spoil it for me, by the way. I got it on the DVR. I'm going to watch it after I'm done with the show here. But we got Game 5 of the NBA Finals. So that's your competition for tonight, okay? They got to start as early as 8 p.m. by doing a special 30-minute show of Jimmy Kimmel before they go into their NBA pre-show countdown. And then the game at 9 o'clock, but tip-off officially at 9:15, okay? So this is what's going on during the 3 hours that Raw is on. And we're going to close out with a fucking pose down. Man, miss me with all that bullshit. Sincerely, miss me with all that. If that wasn't a channel changer at that point, I don't know what was. Sincerely, I don't know what was. But yeah, we had a pose down between both men. I'm trying to think if anything like entertaining even happened in this one. I think Theory ended up squirting some baby oil in the eye of Bobby Lashley and then drop kicks his ass before rolling out of the ring, and then your show pretty much went off like that. Yeah, that pretty much was your Raw for this week. How'd we do? Not too bad. We went over by about 6 minutes. That's not too bad. Yeah, Ford, Jimmy Uso started off the show very strong. AJ, Rollins, great fucking clinic, mad props. Even Riddle and Ciampa, I got to give them a good honorable mention. Everything else sandwiched in between was just pretty much, with the lowest point being Veer Mahan, Mysterio, and the pose down, right? So a bit of a overall average, below average. I'm going to say below average, not an average. I'm going to say a below average episode that was put out there for this week. If you guys been enjoying yourself so far, if you have not done so already, make sure you smash the like button. Subscribe as well. Do like my man Ian and subscribe so you don't miss out on all the great content that comes your way on a weekly basis. Twitter, the Facebook, the Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. We're all over the place wherever you get your podcasts. Check out the webcast streams as well. So a couple of more little tidbits of news we can get into. And if you guys got some wrestling related questions, or if maybe you are patiently waiting for me to maybe open up the line so you can maybe sound off on a couple of things, I'll show you guys some love in a hot little bit. Usually the way we do these shows for our Discord listeners that are maybe tuning in for the first time, usually somebody wants to, either get a comment off, I read it verbally, or, maybe somebody wants to call in. Usually we get it in after about an hour, 15 minutes. And right now I'm saying we're doing about an hour, 7 minutes. So we're rocking and rolling so far. Kind of cool given all the stuff we've covered so far here on the show. So following up on something that we had touched upon at the Awesome Con panel, I know I'm referencing it a lot, but it's interesting because so much of what was discussed in the Awesome Con panel, it's interesting how so much kind of came to fruition just, speaking upon. I'm not saying people were listening, although there are some, but one thing that we were talking about was Sonny, and I remember just showing a lot of love to Sonny Kiss. And Sonny Kiss had recently did an interview, and she was talking about how she's aware of the chatter that is out there on social media from folks that are saying, yo, what's going on? Why are we not seeing Sonny Kiss on our TVs and everything? And she thinks it's pretty badass. She said, and I quote, I think there was honestly essentially like a petition kind of going on. I would love to be used more in general. I feel like eventually it'll happen. I have been trying my best to stay patient. Wait my turn. Right? So it's nice to hear her basically say, look, I'm pretty well aware of what's going on. I appreciate the love and support. I'm waiting. I'm like you guys. I'm waiting. I'm just trying to see. Can I say this? Has anybody seen the AEW programming past couple of weeks? And you get the Nyla Rose, hey, I'm happy to be a trans woman and I'm involved in this great sport and it's amazing that, all this is happening, yada, 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 yakety spackety. And you're going, oh, okay, cool. That's cool. Nice, AEW. That's great that you guys are doing these fucking commercials and all that. That's great. You want to encourage Pride Month and, hey, we accept all, we love all, we appreciate all. That's great. Really, that's great. But look in between the lines. It's not blurred there. Look in between the lines. Go past that commercial. Nyla Rose, transgendered. This month is June. It's Pride Month. Nyla Rose has yet to make an appearance on AEW main programming. She has yet to appear on TNT and TBS. And it's Pride Month. Okay? You got to see the commercial if you haven't seen it yet. You know, if you are bisexual or you're part of the transgender community, whatever, you look at the commercial, you feel so inspired, so empowered. Or if you're a heterosexual person, you're going, oh, hey, all right, nice, diversity, nice, great. But look in between the lines. Nyla Rose, nowhere to be found on TNT or TBS during Pride Month. Sonny Kiss, nowhere to be found during Pride Month. Is there anybody else that I'm missing that is part of the LGBTQ community that's not on injury reserve right now that we should be seeing on TNT and TBS? I'll pose that question to you guys. Because if the LGBTQ plus community is being represented on TNT and TBS, I think it's very important that, one, not only do we recognize that, But two, while it's still kind of early and they're doing these commercials, let's make sure we get some commercials in with these folks as well, assuming that you guys maybe are sitting on them. But I just think it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, almost kind of humorous within reason, what's going on there. But I thought those comments from Sonny Kiss, I wanted to share that with you guys because I thought that was pretty interesting. Also, interesting report going around. Now, I should note that producers Jason Eisner and Evan Husney of Dark Side of the Ring, they have not publicly commented on this yet, so take it with a grain of salt. But supposedly, the producers of Dark Side of the Ring are working with WWE on a new docu-series. Now, I know what some of you guys are saying. Well, goddamn, we've already got the WWE biographies, legends. We already are doing that shit on A&E. What's going on with this one? And apparently, not really a synopsis, but early word about this docu-series that is being produced with WWE being very hands-on. They're being very hands-on with this particular project. Basically, it's supposed to be campfire talk. It is supposed to be... The vibe I was kind of picking up, honestly, it seemed as though maybe they were going to kind of go in that direction a little bit, talking about the old territory days. You could maybe think a little bit of Legends with JBL. That was a great show for what it was worth. You also almost got the vibe that maybe it was gonna have that fusion of, what was the one with Jim Ross, Legends of the Round Table, WWE Legends of the Round Table. I used to love that fucking show, and I was advocating for years they needed to bring that fucking show back. But you almost kind of get the vibe that maybe that's the direction they're trying to go with this new series. Legends of Wrestling. Thank you, Eddie. Legends of Wrestling. Supposedly, they've already filmed some stuff with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, I'm assuming for maybe the very first episode or what have you, but they have not disputed this, the guys from Dark Side of the Ring. So if it's true that WWE is working with these guys, congrats to them. Sincerely, congrats to them. They good hard work pays off as far as I'm concerned. Now, of course, some people may want to challenge what's going on and say, wonder if this maybe was their agenda all along, was to maybe get noticed by the WWE, and that's a different topic for another time, but just something to kind of marinate on. And for those of you thinking about Dark Side of the Ring, you're wondering what's going on with the upcoming season. Even though you got Vice TV saying they're as committed as ever to a new season of Dark Side of the Ring, as far as the fall 2022, early 2023 TV lineup goes, nothing has been announced yet for Dark Side of the Ring. It does not mean, though, that the show is not going to happen, okay? It could just be a matter of figuring out, okay, when can we squeeze it in? How soon can you guys begin filming? Making sure money clears up so that they can do what they need to do, all that good shit, okay? To be continued, all right? Paige, first time ever we're talking about this. Paige, she had announced her exit from WWE, as it's going to be coming up first week of July, so just a couple of more weeks to go. She put out a brief statement on this. Here's what she had to say. She put this out within the past couple of days. She said, July 7th will be the last day with WWE. I'm so thankful and I appreciate the opportunities that the company has given me. I will always be appreciative of the company that took in an 18-year-old British pale emo girl that didn't look like your average diva, giving me the chance of a lifetime and making me feel like a superstar. I know after my neck injury taking me out of in-ring status, it was pretty hard to keep me around for as long as you did, and for that, I'm thankful too. Thank you to the WWE Universe. You guys are the most passionate group of fans I've ever seen. Hope you continue to stay on this journey with me. I think the toughest part, weirdly enough, is having to let the Paige name go. but I've always is it Saria? I've always butchered that name of hers. Is a hell of a name. Kudos to my mom for that one. FYI, I'm not saying I'll never be in the ring. That day will most certainly come again, wherever the return may be. Thank you, WWE. So that's what she pretty much had said in a nutshell. And look, not for nothing, they tried her as a manager. Remember that? Colonel Sanders remembers. Old man Sanders remembers. She was a manager for Kairi Sane and Asuka, if you guys remember. Very, very brief. Very brief. A quick footnote. Then they tried to have her be part of the WWE backstage panel with Renee, Booker T, CM Punk, for what that was worth. And I thought she was doing kind of well there in that position. They also tried to, if I remember right, didn't they also make her some type of a manager on the SmackDown side of things? I could have sworn they did something with her of an authoritative, yes, general manager. Thank you. Yeah, they even had her be a general manager. When she did that movie, that was a biopic about her entire life, with My Family and Me, right? We had fun butchering the hell out of that name, right? Fucking in the Family. I mean, we're all out there with all kinds of funny names for that one. But in all seriousness, she even did that, right? Isn't that interesting? Wrestling with My Family. Thank you, Anna. Wrestling with My Family. See, as I say, we were fucking around with the names. Like, it got to a point we didn't even remember what the fuck the name of it was. But Wrestling with My Family. Isn't it interesting that in regards to Paige and the digital turn that WWE has found themselves in these past handful of years, all these digital exclusive shows, these pre-shows and all of that, isn't it interesting that they didn't try to find more work for her to do? Isn't it interesting how they didn't try to make her feel validated? Now, to be devil's advocate, I'm sure in the years since the initial injury, Paige was looking at the Bryan Danielsons. She was looking at the Edges. She looked at the CM Punks returning and said to herself, damn, yo, I'm feeling as healthy as ever. I think physically I'm in a really good place. Why can't that be me? Should that be me? Let me see what's going on here. And we all know she's documented it very well, her journey, and trying to get back into the squared circle. Look, when it's all said and done, WWE could have easily just said, look, we don't want to take that risk. We appreciate you, we love you, but we just don't want to take that risk. We're thinking about your well-being. We have you in mind. We're thinking about your well-being. And it's kind of, yeah, well, if you're really thinking about me and all that, I appreciate that. But damn, can I at least be made to feel validated? Can I at least be made to feel valued? Give me some shit to do. And she has not been incorporated at all. I can't remember the last time. I'll put it on you guys. I'm reading everywhere in the chats here. I'll put it on you guys. When was the last time you saw Paige that was part of a pre-show or a post-show or a watch-along party? I can't remember the last time I saw anything of that magnitude. I'd be shocked if somebody were to say to me, oh, it was just last month, or it was actually during WrestleMania. I would be really shocked to hear that, because I didn't really I ain't see no advertising going on whatsoever. No CM goof. I'm not pronouncing it. It's after midnight. I have a golden rule. When it comes to mentioning this, trying to pronounce certain things, I pass after a certain time. I'm not going to bother. Because I already took my melatonin, so I'm not going to bother. He said, fuck your rules. Like, no, I'm not going there. Yeah. See, it's a very interesting challenge. When was the last time Paige did something pre-show, post-show? Seriously. When was the last time? You can't recall. It's hard to recall. So we've all been there. We've all felt that way within reason. If we feel as though, yo, man, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm busting my ass, and man, it just feels like no matter what I'm doing, I don't feel appreciated. I don't feel valued. And you know what? When a person starts to feel that way, all the money in the world doesn't really mean shit. All the money in the world does not mean shit. If you don't feel validated, if you don't feel respected, then it's just going to be a matter of time before you say, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to go on ahead and roll the fuck out. I don't need this. And apparently she did something March 2020 via Skype. That was the last time she did something. Apparently a SmackDown episode in March of 2020, but she appeared via Skype. Look, I think without a shadow of a doubt, she wants to get back into the ring. And this could very well be a case of what was going on there with Bryan Danielson. We all know, as he documented it well in his first round of interviews post WWE joining AEW, and he respected the hell out of Vince McMahon, trying to protect him and all that. But, you know, he felt he could go, and he didn't like all those restrictions that was continuing to be put on him even after he passed all of those fucking tests, all said and done. So as far as Paige goes, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. If you were to pick my brain and, you know, hey, where would you like to see Paige end up? I know a lot of people are going to be like, AEW. But me personally, I wouldn't want to see her go to AEW. I would not want to see her go to AEW. I'm looking at just some of the girls so far that have come from WWE to AEW, and I'm not really feeling it. I'm not really feeling it right now. I'm watching very carefully what comes about with Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa, right? To hopefully convince me otherwise. Well, nah, you know what? Nah, maybe it would be a good thing to come to AEW. But I just feel right now, in regards to AEW's women's division, if you're not Jade Cargill, if you're not Britt Baker, if you're not the latest flavor of the month, you're going to get lost in the shuffle very, very quick. And my biggest fear for as talented of a woman as Paige, my fear is that she'd be a nice, good flavor for a month or two, but a significant backseat afterwards. No, I like the idea of her maybe doing something with the WOW Women of Wrestling promotion. I like the idea of her doing something with them. I also like where NWA's women's division has been going. I think she would do pretty damn solid there. Not for nothing, Impact Wrestling even. Oh, man, just the matches that her and fucking Deonna Purrazzo could have for a few months. Oh, that would be a great fucking feud right then and there. But, yeah, I really feel she would get lost in the shuffle, unfortunately, with AEW. I really, really do. I really, really do. I see some of you guys... Goof is saying NWA doesn't pay a lot, maybe a couple of grand for the top guys and girls. That wouldn't be Goof. I'm with you 100%. Eddie, Impact Wrestling, in my opinion, has the best women's division. They're coming along. Goof's not 100% on the, which one? Are you not 100% on the NWA? WOW, both? But he's saying he's not 100% on that. He don't believe they pay that well. Anna, she will want to go somewhere where she'll still be noticed and seen on TV and all. TV is definitely going to be very important. It's all about that reach when it's all said and done. That's why I kind of lean a little bit more towards WOW Women of Wrestling, because these guys partnered up with fucking Viacom. So Viacom, that connects to CBS, and right, Jeannie Buss at the helm and all that. You know, the only thing is they've already filmed what they've needed to film for this coming season going down in the fall. So now the question becomes, okay, so
when are you guys going to be filming again? And would she be okay with operating that type of a schedule while also working for another promotion? Because as we've seen with WoW Women of Wrestling, whatever name they're under, usually for WoW, that's pretty much all part of that respected little universe. Most of the girls go and wrestle under other names for other promotions and all of that, right? WoW's got to be that one promotion where, yeah, go ahead, do your thing and all that. But if you're doing something for us, we got to have you under this, under that, right? They're pretty loose about it. So, but I agree, the TV deal, that is going to be a main factor. So where potentially Impact Wrestling, could be out of the picture, not everybody has Access TV. Are they still doing Twitch, Impact Wrestling? When I say are they still doing Twitch, I remember, because I haven't seen it in maybe 2 years, so I wouldn't know. But Impact Wrestling used to do something cool where when the new episodes had came on Access TV, they had the beautiful Melissa Santos who would be doing like a little watch along on Twitch, but you could also watch that new episode of Impact. So basically she would come in between commercial breaks and, be like, hey, how you guys are enjoying that segment so far? What did you guys think about that match? And I would stay popping in there. I would be chatting it up with folks. I would get a couple of shout outs here and there. I remember because their original set of guests for the watch-alongs and commercial break buffers was Don Callis and Josh Matthews. That's how far back I went. And that was before they got Melissa Santos in there. Yeah, when they had Melissa Santos in there, oh my God, everybody. But what was badass, Brian Cage would make little cameo appearances. Like Brian Cage would just pop up. He'd be eating a fucking banana. He'd be like, what's up? He would be doing these drive-bys and shit. It'd be fucking funny, man. Good times. Yeah, so probably it would be between WoW, I think. WoW, unfortunately, AEW, even though I feel the way I feel, but they could definitely, right, brand awareness, all that shit, they definitely got that and then some. NWA is a long shot. I agree about the whole money thing, Just because it's operated by Billy Corgan, that doesn't always mean that, money. Yeah, right? Doesn't always mean that. AEW Dark Elevation card for this week, talking about Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose takes on Max the Impaler. Y'all know how much of a big fan I am of Max the Impaler, so if you are a fan of Max the Impaler, y'all might want to check that out as well. Private Party takes on SK Bishop and Pharrell Jackson. Ortiz takes on Anaya. Mercedes Martinez and Serena Deeb team up to take on Miranda Gordy and Tootie Lynn. Meanwhile, 2.0 takes on Danny Adams and Warhorse. Meanwhile, Ruby Soho goes one-on-one against Heidi. That should be a good one right there. And Evil Uno and 10 take on QT Marshall and Aaron Solo. So looks like it's going to be pretty good when it's all said and done. Also, got some Vince McMahon news for you guys. Apparently, according to the New York Post, Vince McMahon is said to right now be looking for a publisher for his potential memoir. And he's been pitching ideas for it the past couple of weeks. And apparently the pitch for his biography is being compared to Phil Knight's Shoe Dog, a memoir by the creator of Nike. A source said it's essentially his memoir about building WWE. There have been other bios on him and WWE in the past, but this is very much his memoir told in his voice about his rise and life. So this is where it gets pretty interesting, because the publisher that is behind this, these guys are also the ones responsible for putting biographies out there for Mike Tyson, Kevin Garnett, Willie Nelson, just to name a few. So Vince McMahon's in pretty good company. He's got pretty good representation there. But here's the thing. When you hear that this pretty much has Vince McMahon's hands all over it, and you're going, okay, yeah, you're going to tell the story and all that, but are you really gonna be candid? Are you really gonna let it all hang out? Are you really gonna just leave no stone unturned and you're gonna be as fucking brutally honest as possible? You're not gonna hold back anything? Or are you gonna just kind of dress this up in the best analogy that I can use? Remember the John Travolta Gotti movie? I mean, Jesus fucking Christ of Latter-day Saints, the way they painted that fucking movie. And yes, I am part of the few, the proud, the only that watched that movie from beginning to end. What a atrocious fucking movie. But they made it seem like he was just this confused, misunderstood, fucking cold-hearted killer gangster thug, right? I mean, they really, really tried to make this guy seem like a fucking saint. And that was because Gotti's son's fingerprints were all over this as far as how his dad was portrayed. So, you know, I can't help but wonder, whereas I'm more interested in the unauthorized biography that's going to be going head to head with Vince McMahon's memoir in 2023. Apparently, it's a book called Ringmaster, and it's by Abraham Reisman, and it's about McMahon. It is a unauthorized book, and those that have been able to read a couple of chapters of this, they are saying it is some good fucking shit. That book, by the way, that is going to be released from the publisher Simon & Schuster. We've done a lot of work with them over the years. They've been very kind to us over the years, granting us some early advanced copies to, you know, put out a couple of feelers for, talk about it, get a little bit of buzz going and all that. But that unauthorized McMahon book, if you guys are interested, that's going to be coming out. And I got this. Nobody else is saying this right now. Nobody else is saying this right now. But that Vince McMahon unauthorized book, according to Amazon.com, and I've been an Amazon.com buyer since I was in fucking college, so that's 2001. Very seldom will Amazon put out a street date and it gets pushed back to a new date. Very seldom. If it does happen, you know, for that particular item, once, twice, very seldom I've seen it go down 3 times. But they have a date of May 28th, 2023, when that book is going to drop. I would imagine that for members of the press media, we'll probably be able to get copies of that book probably 6 months out. I would not be surprised. But yeah, if you were to ask me which one I'm going to be reading first, I'm going to read that unauthorized joint. I'm going to read that unauthorized one first. Anna, I'm with you. Yeah, Anna's saying it's going to be a fluff if Vince is right. Yeah, I'm looking at that shit cockeyed going, you know, are you going to talk about how it was growing up for you as a kid? You gonna talk about the shit that was going on there with, you know, didn't a family member do something with Vince? I don't want to talk out of turn there, but you know, wasn't there some like heavy dark shit that went down? So like, how honest? Right. I didn't want to say his mom because I didn't want to fucking because it is kind of late at night. But like, how honest are we gonna get if we're not gonna really go there like that? I mean, really understand that. You guys understand it, but like I don't think the rest of the wrestling community really understands that. When they just hear a Vince McMahon memoir, they're just going, "Oh shit!" But really stop and think about that. Vince McMahon, he's on borrowed time. He is on borrowed fucking time. This man could go out any fucking day. Is he really gonna take all of that to his grave? I mean, when you think about somebody writing a memoir, they go all balls out. Sincerely, they go all balls out. I hope that book, for me, I hope it lives up to, there's a Johnny Cash book that I have. I'm trying to see if I can find it for you guys real quick. I'm not seeing it right now. Yeah, oh, there it is. I'm looking right at it. I hope that it follows the blueprint of Johnny Cash's The Life, which is by author Robert Hilburn. If you guys have never read that book, but you're a Johnny Cash fan, pick it up. Or even if you're not a Johnny Cash fan, but you know, you like switching it up, pick up that book. I hope it maybe kind of goes in that direction, because that book to this day continues to be credited and cited by everybody as far as like all things Johnny Cash and all that, right? So I really hope it kind of goes in that direction. We'll see. We shall see. But that's that. By the way, shout out to everybody that had donated to Don West's GoFundMe. I remember we did our part a couple of weeks back before I went on vacation, and I just made sure I told you guys, hey, look, you know, he could really use the help. You guys ain't got no money. That's cool. Just share the fucking link. Get it out there. They were able to reach their goal. They were trying to give $40,000. And they crushed that. They pretty much had doubled that. They have surpassed the $60,000 mark. And about $15,000 of that comes from Scott D'Amore, because Scott D'Amore, he had challenged people a couple of weeks back saying, look, anybody that makes a donation because me putting it out there, you know, you heard about it from me, just circle back to me and let me know how much you donated, and I'll pretty much match every dollar. So when you pretty much added it all up, that $60,000 plus dollars, almost $15,000 came from Scott D'Amore. So as you know, Don West, that is, he's battling a form of brain cancer, and it's not looking good right now, but hopefully that money will definitely do what it needs to do, and Don West and family, they can kick that cancer's ass. Yeah, hopefully they can do that. Other than that, that is pretty much it for everything else that's been happening in headlines and all that stuff. So we got about like an hour 37 in. If you guys want to maybe shoot my brain, ask me a quick question. If you maybe are in the Discord and you want to see if I can bring you on real quick so you can, you know, put a comment or question out there, just blast me in the chat and I can definitely show you guys some love. I'll buy you guys some time right now. Nice hangout. I like this. I got to say, for the Discord, I wish I'd have done this sooner. Long time coming, quite honestly. You know, long time coming, quite honestly. And while I'm buying you guys some time here, as far as programming notes go, we're back in full effect. Tuesday, I'm going to be doing the NWA joint. We haven't done the NWA post show in some weeks. That's because I got burned out when we were covering the lost episodes of WOW, Women of Wrestling. But now that I'm back, I'm well rested and everything, we're going to start talking about NWA again. So we're going to have something for you guys Tuesday night, probably around 7. And then Wednesday, after Dynamite is over, I'll be with you guys yet again. So we got that. And that's pretty much it. Oh, also, I forgot, as far as Tuesday goes. So for those of you that's in the Discord, all you got to do going forward, just look at the events tabs. And my shows will always be in there letting you guys know when's the next time I'm going to air. You can also see friends of the family of the Wrestling Soup Network. You can see when Juyari is going to be doing something, when Soup's going to be doing something, when Get in the Corner is going to be doing something. So you guys will always be in the fucking loop and everything. But for you guys in Discord, Tuesday night, we're going to have Wrestling with the Topics. I think I have that scheduled to come on at 10 p.m. Me and the missus will be live, and we'll be talking about Awesome Con weekend. We'll be talking about seeing Top Gun Maverick. We'll also share some more funny stories. We got one story that's really funny that you guys will fucking get a hoot out of. Is we went to a place for ribs, and the ribs were good, but we ran into a party that apparently I couldn't quite figure out where I remembered these guys from. And then I had to rewind it back to a particular date. So when you guys hear that story, it's fucking hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. Let's see. Yes, Eddie, yes. Much love to Don West. Yeah, I like doing the Monday shows. I love doing the Monday shows. And I tell you what, doing it here, you know, interacting with you guys, I don't care how intimate it is or, you know, how many people are tuning in. Like, I like that we got this nice little intimate setting that's going on here. It's pretty badass. And the best part, when I usually do these shows, We don't do some long-winded shit like some shows, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, so don't get my words twisted. But it's kind of like, yo, just be in and out. If you can do like an hour 45 or less, that's like fucking great, and then just fucking call it, right? So that's how I like to usually do it with these shows. Less is better. That way, everybody can check out the other shows or get to bed at a decent hour and, all that other good shit. Let me see one last time what's going on via YouTube. Shout out to Steven. WWE is not never. I always got to clean up Steven's words there. Steven, let me clean that up for you. WWE is never going to do anything with Piper Niven? Is maybe that what you're trying to say? His original, it's WWE is not never going no she Piper Niven. I'm looking at that, and usually I can break the code of what Steven is trying to say. I'm assuming he's trying to say WWE is never going to do anything with Piper Niven. Maybe that's what he means. So just kind of looking at that. It's interesting, isn't it? That's a delicate situation. That's a delicate situation. On the one hand, you are trying to encourage diversity and we take people in all different shapes, sizes, and all of that. And again, it goes back to what I talked about a couple of minutes ago, which is once they broke her away from Eva Marie, she was already building such great momentum, and then they just killed that so fucking flat. Look, you're only as good as the people behind you that's pretty much writing material for you, and those people are getting the directive from the head honcho. So if the head honcho or those that are connected to the head honcho aren't feeling you, and they're able to get into the head boss's ear and put in just that one tiny little seed of doubt or criticism, then that pretty much is the end for you right then and there. And with what we've been seeing these past couple of weeks now with Dewdrop, it just really comes off as if whatever story arc was potentially going on, it's ice fucking cold now. Noe, shout out to Noe, longtime RCWR show listener. At this point, Jeff needs to wake up. Like, Jeff needs to wake up. Brother, I hope for our sake he does, because 44 going on 45 and you still got young kids. This shit doesn't look cool anymore, man. It's one thing when you were in your 20s and you're looking kind of rebellious there. Yeah, fuck the system, man. Gonna do what you want when you want. You a nice little bad boy. See what's going on there. But man, once you're pretty much just tapping at the door of hitting the big 5-0, and you've got young kids involved, it's very weird, isn't it? Because on the one hand, those of you that have friends that happen to be parents, you always hear, man, once you have a kid, your world as you know it fucking changes. Your entire outlook on life, everything is now through the eyes of this child, and you just are so protective, and you're trying to go above and beyond to, make sure that, they're okay, and everything that you do is pretty much for them, right? It's not about you anymore. It's not about your significant other and what y'all want to do. Now, all the energy goes into that little one. I hope to be as blessed one day by becoming a dad. But for now, I am a dog father. And let me tell you something. The puppy, Chloe, that we had first got, she was born in November of last year. And she has been a handful. And look, I wouldn't take anything. I wouldn't change anything. But she has been a handful for me. And, certain things that I do or I want to do, I always got to make sure, well, wait a minute, that's not really going to be good for Chloe because, she doesn't like this. We got to hear about it. She don't like that. Yeah, but you know how she is with new people. Yeah, you can't leave her alone by herself, right? Your whole world just fucking changes and all that. Now, I'm not saying, dogs or pets and human babies are but within reason, they kind of are. But it's amazing because, to my point, you would think that when somebody becomes an actual parent, all right, man, I got to clean my shit up. The bullshit I was doing 10, 15 years ago, man, I can't be about that, man. I got a reputation to maintain. I could go out of this world tomorrow. Yeah, and you would think, Jeff, with the fact that he is involved in the music industry, seeing the Chris Cornells, the Lang Lees, the fucking Chester Benningtons, the Princes, the Michael Jacksons, the fucking Mark Lanigans, just on and on and on and on and on and on. You would just think all of that combined, it would be enough to just, I'm not trying to put myself in a position where, I'm not trying to have that. Because it's not just about me anymore, but it's also about my kids. They're my extended legacy. And they're going to have to answer for me when I leave this earth, right? You would think that that's the right mindset usually, but with some people, hello, McFly, anybody in there? It's kind of one of those type of deals, man. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah, so we're gonna do the NWA post show. So you guys are getting 2 shows on Tuesday. So you guys are gonna get an NWA post show. Maybe we'll have that air around 7:05 p.m. Maybe we'll do it like that. And then 10 p.m. later that night, you guys will get the Wrestling with the Topics episode as well. Okay? And then Wednesday, you already know the drill. But you missed all of that. Just make sure you're checking out the events tab. You're connected to me on social media. You guys will know about upcoming shows that's going down. All right? So other than that, we could stick a fork in it and we can call this show. Nobody was trying to say something real quick. Cause I remember somebody said, I got a hot take on Jeff Hardy. I'm going to unleash on Jeff Hardy. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything here. And I got everybody before we officially call it here. Hang on. How do I go into... Well, Anna, you still want to go? You still want to go? You chilling? What you want to do, Anna? You tell me. I wasn't sure if it was Anna or not, but somebody said they had a hot take. You do want to go. Okay, so let me go. Now, this is going to be new for me, so bear with me a second here. So I'm assuming I go into the channel, right? And then, okay, your hand is raised. I see you. And then what happens? Do I right click? Let's see what happens. I right click. Okay, I see the hand emoji. They request to speak. And so I guess I hit invite to speak, right? Anna, I think you are live now. Say something. Well, wait a minute. You can't say anything because your mic is muted. So hang on. Anna, I think you're unmuted now. Say something.
Hello?
There you go, Anna. You good?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you good. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly.
All right. What's up, Anna?
All right, look, I'm going to try to keep this short because I could have really just... And I don't want to say shit that's already been said a billion times on Twitter and shit, but so I don't want to, regurgitate a bunch of shit. But, dude, what's it going to take? I mean... What is this? I mean, dude, I love the dude. I love Jeff Hardy. I grew up watching him and everything. I loved him. I mean, I'm going to try to control myself. But anyway, you got all these people. And this isn't an AEW, WWE. All these fucking people on Twitter, dude, saying, well, AEW, this is the dumbest fucking shit, dude. This isn't an wrestling problem, an AEW problem, WWE problem. This is a fucking Jeff Hardy needs help and needs to get the fuck away from wrestling, get the fuck away from his brother and his wife, and get some fucking help, dude. He needs to just get the fuck away from all this. I mean, just being in the wrestling business, dude, it's like, this is like probably the worst place to be to have some shit like this, dude. Because he needs help, dude. I mean, look, I know you touched a little bit on this before, but I hate to say this shit, really, I do. And I don't want to give this fucking monster any more attention or whatever, but this dude is really fast becoming the male Sonny. He's not a fucking sociopath and monster and shit like her, so I don't want to say that, but I mean, yeah, people saying on Twitter and Discord, thankfully nothing happened to nobody. Like, nobody was hurt. Yeah, okay, for this one, yeah, but what's going to happen next time? What's going to happen when something isn't like, do we have to all, I'm not saying you or me or us, but it's like the IWC as a whole. It's like, do we got to wait till something really fucked up happens to say, like, for everybody? It's like I said, it's not a company WWE AEW problem, and I've never been shy about showing shade at AEW fans, so really I don't give a fuck. But just in general, it's like these people at AEW, dude, it's like, if anything happened, okay, two things real quick. If anything, like, they're putting Jeff Hardy in these fucking ladder matches and shit with fucking Darby Allin and shit. These people, man, ain't gonna be happy until fucking Jeff Hardy dies in the fucking ring like Owen Hart. And even then, it's gonna be like, well, he was like the dudes will be like a fucking martyr or some shit. Like, they'll fucking see this dude as a fucking cult hero. Like, oh, he died doing what he loved. He blah, blah, blah. You know that shit would happen. If that happened, dude, you know they would say that, or they would try to figure out some way to throw shade or shit at WWE. I'm not saying WWE fans would say that, but you know for a fact, that AEW fans would fucking say that. Now, just AEW people on Twitter saying all this, like, dude, they're saying, like, well, WWE wanted. I'm so sick of this shit, dude. What is it gonna fucking take for everybody to stop fucking everything right now with anybody? It's a WWE thing or it's an AEW thing. It's so fucking disgusting and stupid. What is it gonna take for this to end? What is it gonna take for people to realize and not be like are AEW fans, like, I know, like, Tony Khan and other people, they're not saying nothing yet so far, which I guess is maybe kind of smart. I don't know. Tony Khan's a fucking whack job lunatic. But what's it going to take for... You see now that when WWE got rid of him, they got rid of him for a reason. Like, yeah, he walked out on that show and everything, but they knew. They knew, dude. And this shit didn't just magically start when he went to AEW. This has been a long time problem for him. We all knew what the deal was with him. That's why WWE got rid of him, dude. I don't know, dude. What's it gonna fucking take?
Well, I'll tell you what it'll take. That's a damn good question too, but I'll tell you what it's gonna take.
Oh, I mean, I'm just asking rhetorically, but
No, it's a rhetorical question, but there are steps that can be taken. Let me explain. And I thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I love hearing everything that you had to say there, Anna. Good shit right there. All right, so for starters, in regards to this whole WWE, AEW bullshit, everything starts with guys such as the Tony Khans. Oh, wait a minute. Did I accidentally yeah,
Yeah, I accidentally
Lee,
muted
you there?
myself. Yeah, I'm here now. I accidentally muted myself.
Okay. No worries, dude. I was
Yeah,
just, okay.
yeah, but this
Go on.
is what I'm talking about. So it all starts with the Tony Khans, the Dave Meltzers, the Brian Alvarezes, the Raj Giris, and everybody else that is just AEW, 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 fuck WWE. Oh, look at what WWE did this week. Oh, no, they're stupid, right? It all starts with those guys. And furthermore, it doesn't help when you have certain wrestlers on the AEW roster, let alone you got your owner and Tony Khan putting this type of stuff that they're putting out there. When you got them operating like that, that's not good, because you're already creating the us versus them mentality. And so every single little thing that either one of these companies are doing. Perfect example. You look at how Tony Khan had said the shit that he said about WWE basically doing a pay-per-view the same weekend of a UFC pay-per-view event. And he's taking a massive shit on them. Oh, that's not smart. Yeah, I was having dinner with Dana White and we were talking about it. And it's like, Tony, you do realize that Dana White and Vince McMahon in the WWE, they've had a relationship. They've been friendly with one another for a couple of decades now. You do realize that, right? Like, so I know you're having dinner with Dana White and everything, but just kind of have that going in the back of your head. Furthermore, why are you so concerned about what these guys are doing over here? Right? It's like, don't worry about them. Worry about what you're doing with your respected brand and what's helping you continue to stay cash flow positive, if you're able to stay cash flow positive at all with some of the stuff that we've heard in recent years and everything. So it's you got to combine that. But everything starts with those people that are jumping out there and they're making it come off as this us versus them mentality. I honestly think that it's bad what Tony Khan and them are doing right now by staying silent about this matter. They actually should have gotten in front of this and said, hey, we're very well aware of what came about with Jeff Hardy from over the weekend, and we are complying as best as we can with the authorities should they want for our assistance. At the same time, we are also in constant contact directly with Jeff Hardy, and at this time we're not going to comment any further about the situation until the police investigation is complete. For the time being, though, Jeff Hardy will not be on AEW television. We have offered him help as best as we can. He knows that we're there whenever he needs it, and leave it at that. So I actually think it's a disservice that we're continuing to go day into day into day, and Tony Khan and them aren't saying anything. They need to get in front of this as soon as humanly possible. But we have this toxicity that's going on amongst WWE and AEW fans. I mean, really stop and think about it. If you really stop and think about it, you're good WWE, AEW, just that overall wrestling fan that appreciates all things wrestling. They will just inhale all things wrestling. Just give it to them. They're a fan of the industry in general. They're going to look at this stuff that's going on and they're honestly going to be like, man, that's unfortunate. They're not going to be looking to point the finger at, and believe it or not, to Anna's point, the stuff that's been said about this Jeff Hardy thing today, it's ridiculous because there are actually fans that are throwing shade at WWE. There are actual fans that are throwing shade at AEW, and it's kind of nauseating, to be perfectly honest with you. It's nauseating to see that these fans are jumping out there and they're commenting like this. But your typical WWE fan that's looking at this Jeff Hardy story, man, that's unfortunate. Man, dude need to get his shit together. Dude need to get straight. What the fuck? But then you'll have that fan, that same fan, heaven forbid, you say, oh, wow, look at the TV ratings for this week. You're just making an observation. Oh, man, Dynamite went down by about 5%. Oh, well, they're still doing pretty good. Hey, SmackDown did good, man. They added about 200,000 more viewers. Hey, good for WWE. Somebody might not look at that comment as somebody just creating conversation. Somebody might look at that as, oh, this motherfucker taking shade at AEW. Well, fuck you, you fucking, right? And everything starts from the very top in regards to AEW, more so AEW than it is with WWE. Because you, right down to the point, you look at the WWE superstars, very seldom do you see a WWE superstar taking shade at AEW. Very seldom do you see that shit going on. But for some reason, and it's through Tony Khan, he has basically given this green light to go and fucking bash. And Lord knows it didn't help when you had Cody Rhodes taking the fucking hammer and smashing the throne and all that other bullshit, and everybody coming in there with their whole, I was in a prison known as WWE, and acting like WWE was the joint from Schindler's List and they somehow escaped that motherfucker and they got freedom and shit. But it all honestly, for things to get better, it all starts with Tony Khan. And it trickles on down. And when you continue to endorse that type of behavior, when you continue to allow that type of behavior go unchecked, it's gonna magnify to where it is right now. And what would be just so definitive, it wouldn't happen, but what would just be so definitive would just, in a nice way, without directly taking shots at the fans, it would be so nice if, as part of Tony Khan's little whatever shindig statement, I know that there are so many fans that have followed the work of Jeff Hardy over the decades, whether you saw him in WWE, TNA, or currently watching him with us in AEW. Jeff Hardy has his fans everywhere. And the best thing that we all can do right now as fans and supporters of Jeff Hardy is send him our love, send him our best wishes that he gets himself together. Something that really unifies, but that's not going to happen from Tony Khan because that's not the game he plays on social media. He doesn't play that. He's very, you all see how he rolls. It's all about whatever match he needs to plug, and any level of scrutiny, any level of criticism, constructive criticism at that, he receives. Oh man, he's lighting that ass up. But to expect for him to put something out there that's, kind of rational, the odds of that is it's 50-50, and usually it ain't gonna happen. But it starts at the top. You lead by example. Monkey see, monkey do. So if he puts out a bad statement, right? He puts out some type of a shot towards WWE or its WWE fans or whatever. What do you think the talent on the roster is going to do? What do you think of Will Hobbs and them are going to do? They're pretty much going to operate in the same kind of fashion, most likely, because the boss that's signing their checks, he's doing it. He's signing off on it. So they don't have to worry about getting in trouble, is my whole point. But that's how you can pretty much begin to tackle it. These podcasters that are, so pro AEW that AEW can do nothing wrong. The Brian Alvarezes, the Meltzers, and all these people that got their hands in the cookie jar, they are part of this whole shindig as well. The sooner that they get their heads up out of Tony Khan's ass and always trying to please him and everything and really fucking call it right down the middle for what it's worth. And when something, the whole point of being a member of the media, all right, presenting the facts, nothing but the facts. And if you're going to present the facts in such a way where, okay, look, the argument that I'm going to be making, hey, it's very bad that AEW is, and here's the definitive evidence. Here's nothing but the facts to back up. That's basically a persuasive speech or a persuasive article or whatever you want to call it, right? You're being persuasive, but at the same time, you're being persuasive by presenting definitive facts that will make that person reading or hearing it decide, okay, well, based on what I'm hearing, yeah, you know what? Yeah, okay, I see that. Okay, cool. But a lot of these so-called wrestling media journalists don't operate in that fashion. It is all about just whatever I got to do to continue to be on the good side of these people, then that's what I'm going to do. Even if it means I got to turn a blind eye to some of this other shit that's going on. They aren't helping either, right? So there is, remember what I said earlier about self-accountability? There's enough that can go all the way around on this one, right? There is enough that can go all the way around on this one. But look, man, that's a stone cold definitive facts that I just gave you. Whether or not it's going to actually happen, slim to none. But we know what the real deal is. That's the important thing. We know what's up. And we're able to call and, hey, that's bullshit. We're able to detect it. We're able to call it out when we see it and all that. It's interesting, though. It's very interesting, though, because you would expect that in this day and age, you know, I'm almost kind of reminded about when I went on the Jericho cruise. Not to be long-winded, but I go back to the Jericho cruise sometimes that I was on last year because on the one hand, there were a decent amount of people that loved and appreciated all things wrestling. And I engaged in conversations with these guys, whether it was New Japan or we were talking ROH or we were talking Dragon Gate or we were talking WOW or NWA. There were definitely fans that were there that, yo, I'm truly a wrestling fan. I love and appreciate all things wrestling. If it's good, I want to check it out. But then there's that eerie, scary feeling when I had came across people that all they did was eat, sleep, breathe, shit AEW. And they were very scary for me because it's like, wow, you know, you're going to die on this cross. You know, but is it really reciprocal? How you're jumping out there and you're just all for this. Sometimes when I look at this AEW, WWE shit, it reminds me of my time living in California, Crips and Bloods. Just the Crips and Bloods, and they were just going back and forth. There's a part of me that, not the level of violence, mind you. I think you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, as far as, you know, pick a side. Oh, you with them? Oh, what you fucking around with them for, man? They the soft ass, you know, ninjas. Let's go with ninjas, right? They the soft ass motherfuckers. What you doing fucking with them, right? It almost kind of feels that territorial these days when I'm looking at it. And then let's not forget, you got fans that have not, yes, marks within reason, ass kissing, PWG loving marks. Rusted said in the chat there. Yeah, within reason, but you know, some of these fans, they almost come off like some of these people, they missed the original Monday Night War, and they want so desperately to be able to have what we had when we were coming up during that time. For some of us, we were kids. For some of us, we were teenagers. For some of us, we were young adults during that whole Monday Night War period. There are people out there that so desperately want to have that again, that they think that the stuff that's going on here, they think that it will help them. They think that it will help them somehow get what they missed of what we had from back in the day. And it's sadly not the case at all. It's sadly not the case at all. You guys in the Discord, you can still hear me, right? Because last I checked, I'm unmuted, right? So hopefully you didn't fucking miss any of that shit that I just said there. Otherwise, it was like, damn, y'all missed out on a good hot take. Okay, good. You heard me good. Yeah, it's like, otherwise you missed out on a good take. I could go in so many directions on that one. I really could, but I think what I said is just enough. And no, I can't hear you, Anna, because I had muted you to respond to you. But let's do this because it's a little bit past my bedtime and the melatonin is starting to kick my ass. So I don't want to be on the microphone with you guys. on the microphone with you guys. Let's do this. We got Wednesday night because usually when I do the Wednesday night shows, I pretty much talk usually all things Dynamite, but I also talk Impact, Lil NWA, and other stuff. Let's marinate all together that's listening. We'll be listening to this on demand and downloads. Let's marinate on everything that we touched upon with Jeff Hardy, right? Because this was multi-layered that we approached during this show. Let's all marinate on what was discussed. Let's come back Wednesday. And what we can do, as soon as we get the talk of Dynamite out the way, I'll get the talk of Dynamite, like, to kick off the show. I'll just hammer that shit out in, like, 20, 30 minutes, and then we can go right into the phone lines and all that, and we can pick up from where we left off right here, and we can basically say, hey, yeah, some of the stuff you said, it makes a lot of sense. I agree. Yeah, some of the stuff you said doesn't make sense. Here's why I disagree, right? We can pretty much go in that direction for you guys. But in the meantime, for those of you that's going to be waiting for the audio version of this, give me about 45 minutes. I'll probably have it in less than that, but I just got to whip it up, and I'll release this ASAP. That'll be like the absolute very last thing that I'll do, and that'll be it. Shout out to those of you that's watching the webcast via multiple outlets. Appreciate the love and support as always. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button. When you do that, you really help spread the good word about the content. Subscribe as well so you don't miss out on future content that comes your way. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords the RCWR show. And I got the TikTok going now. I'm still trying to figure it out, but I got the TikTok as well. So look me up on there. And that's going to do it. Until next go around, wishing all of y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. And I will see you guys next go round. Adios, y'all. Take care.